Hey everyone, and welcome back to Evolve Every Day. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that is absolutely crucial for navigating life successfully: the incredible art of truly understanding people. Whether you're a business professional, a student, a public servant, in sales, service, or even just dating, if you interact with others, this video is for you. I promise these next few minutes will be incredibly valuable. Stick around till the very end because there are so many surprising insights packed into this lesson that you won't want to miss. You know those people who present themselves with such grace and sophistication in public, always perfectly composed? But then, when they're behind closed doors, their true colors emerge. These individuals often possess a superficial view of the world, quick to judge a book by its cover and dismiss others. Sadly, this personality type is incredibly common. Some are just born this way, while for others, it's a habit they've picked up over time. For those who are seemingly born this way, their behavior is often deeply rooted in their upbringing. They simply don't value others' opinions, and surprisingly, they don't see it as a flaw. Instead, they view it as a sign of their own experience and maturity. Then there are others for whom this attitude is a learned habit, often tied to their careers. Think of sales or service roles, where constant interaction with high-profile clients shapes their demeanor, making them appear poised and sophisticated. But here's the truth: it's all just a mask. Once they're home, that facade drops, revealing their authentic selves. The stark contrast between their public display and private reality often fuels an above-it-all attitude, sometimes even leading to a tendency for flattery and insincerity. Think about it. Why might someone with a more modest income hesitate to choose a partner whose profession constantly exposes them to extreme wealth or status? Because they understand that such a person might easily develop a superficial outlook, making them feel insecure or eventually looked down upon. If you encounter someone like this, especially when dating or choosing a life partner, it's wise to keep your distance. Your peace of mind is too valuable. On the flip side, consider those remarkable individuals who remain calm, collected, and composed even when facing immense difficulties. These are often natural leaders, possessing an incredible ability to control the bigger picture. It's so clear when you see it. Take entrepreneurs, for instance, who bravely venture out, choosing a path far different from the majority who opt for stable, albeit lower-paying jobs. Those who dare to go against the current, who face daunting risks without flinching, they are truly exceptional. They possess an unwavering inner strength and absolute self-confidence. This is the very essence of leadership, a magnetic charisma that draws others to them, irrespective of age or formal education. When you meet someone like this, especially before they've achieved widespread success, make an effort to connect with them. Think of it as planting a seed. Nurture that relationship, and you'll surely see incredible growth. Now, let's talk about those who constantly interrupt others, even when they clearly don't know much at all. These are the people who are all talk and no substance. It's like the old saying, empty vessels make the most noise, isn't it? When people genuinely don't know something, they typically either stay silent or try to argue their point logically. But for this type, it's not just about a specific incident. It's a deep-seated personality trait, often stemming from their upbringing. If you encounter someone like this, simply smile, let it go. There's no need to engage in a pointless argument. It will only waste your time and sour your mood. Then there are the truly strong individuals. Those with a powerful presence, maybe physically imposing, yet they move with such careful deliberation, always yielding to others, letting them go first. These are the calm, mature souls. They possess great strength but carry it with profound humility. You see, truly arrogant people are often deeply insecure, using pride or a hardened exterior as a defense mechanism. Think of the schoolyard toughs. Many are actually quite weak on the inside. When they step into the adult world, their old tricks no longer work, and they often fade into mediocrity. The real power players, the true predators, move silently, observing, never needing to announce their presence. If you ever meet someone like this, take the time to learn from them, and in the world of dating, they are absolutely worth considering. Now, let's consider those who constantly complain behind people's backs. More often than not, these individuals are narrow-minded and selfish. They're the type who might betray a friend for the slightest personal gain. Conspiracies and backroom dealings, they almost always originate from those who lack true strength and confidence. Because they feel too weak to play fairly and openly, they hide in the shadows. Someone who loves to complain behind closed doors, especially when they completely avoid direct confrontation, often reveals a two-faced nature. They're typically fair-weather friends, opportunistic, and operate without any real principles. Complaining, at its core, is an act of weakness. While both involve strong emotions, there's a world of difference between merely complaining and seeking true justice. Those who choose to constantly grumble usually lack genuine ability. They're all talk and they spread nothing but negative energy. You can almost guarantee that such individuals will be petty, self-serving, and sadly prone to betraying their friends. If you ever encounter people like this, my strong advice is to keep your distance. Absolutely avoid entering into any relationships with them, even seemingly innocent ones. Don't accept their gifts or favors, because down the line, they'll inevitably twist the narrative, exaggerate everything, and spread rumors about you to anyone who will listen. You know, those people who instantly get too chummy, make inappropriate jokes, or act like they've known you forever, often turn out to be the ones who'll flip on you when it really matters. They love to throw people under the bus and talk badly about others, all under the guise of just trying to help. This kind of instant familiarity, frankly, isn't trustworthy. Sure, they might make you feel comfortable at first, but spend enough time with them and you'll quickly realize they're utterly hollow. Truly mature individuals understand that a certain distance and mutual respect are absolutely crucial in any relationship. People who hold significant positions or those who are genuinely influential tend to maintain a quiet reserve, never easily intruding upon someone's personal space or emotional boundaries. Sometimes, even a simple handshake isn't really necessary. Think about your own phone contacts for a moment. How many truly successful, highly influential people do you know that you could just call up directly without any prior notice? Someone who knows how to maintain appropriate boundaries is usually a genuinely mature person, whereas those who push for instant intimacy often lack true respect for others. In their eyes, putting someone down or even betraying them is just another Tuesday. If you ever encounter someone like this, trust me, steer clear. And if you're on a date and you spot these red flags, find a polite exit strategy and get out of there quickly. Because how they treat you is precisely how they'll treat everyone else. Then there are those who display overt arrogance but try to cloak it with a veneer of politeness. These individuals are usually self-satisfied to an extreme degree. They might genuinely believe they come from a more privileged background, received a superior education, or possess far greater material wealth than others. The politeness they exhibit is often a complete facade, not born from genuine sincerity, but rather like a script they've rehearsed. They're much like those who appear outwardly composed, but are secretly filled with anxiety and insecurity. Their self-satisfaction is merely a desperate way to comfort themselves, because true confidence shines when you can view everything with a calm demeanor and interact with others with heartfelt sincerity. If you encounter someone like this, honestly, don't let them bother you too much. Simply respond to them in kind. And if this happens on a date, gracefully and politely conclude the meeting, making sure there won't be a second one. What we've just discussed are truly just the basic insights into the art of reading people, a mere appetizer, if you will. I've often heard successful entrepreneurs and influential leaders share that the absolute most critical skill in business, above all else, is the ability to truly discern and effectively utilize people. In this vast, intricate world, Human personalities are incredibly diverse, aren't they? You'll encounter those who are aggressive and headstrong. Then there are others who are quick to stab you in the back. Some are utterly selfish, concerned only with their own gain. Yet you'll also find those who stand firm in times of crisis, ready to make selfless sacrifices. And then there are the ones who are perpetually arrogant, quick to criticize society, but in reality, they're just shallow and utterly clueless. When faced with adversity or challenging situations, those who panic, lose their composure, and lack a clear plan are often the very individuals who disregard moral principles, solely pursuing their own personal gain. You'll find people who project an outward air of casual charm, perhaps even a bit playful, but behind your back, they're secretly scheming to cause harm. Then there are those who live a seemingly carefree, unorganized life day to day, yet when the moment demands it, they possess the courage and capability to become an unwavering pillar of strength. Every person is unique, with their own quirks and strengths, but all can be valuable if we only learn how to assess them truly and accurately. Zhang Guofan, a truly renowned statesman from China's Qing dynasty, possessed an extraordinarily unique method for understanding and evaluating people. He always prioritized observing their eyes first and foremost. In his view, a person's eyes needed to possess a certain spirit, a clear brightness, as this was a telling sign of good fortune and inner vitality. Those with dull, lifeless eyes, he believed, often struggled with honesty. And someone with shifty, constantly darting eyes, that was typically a clear indicator of a cunning, untrustworthy individual, someone you simply couldn't rely on. Following the eyes, he would carefully examine the nose and mouth. A straight nose with a high bridge and full nostrils, combined with a well-proportioned mouth, often signaled an upright, intelligent, and truly dependable person. Conversely, a crooked nose or a small mouth suggested someone ill-suited for significant responsibilities. Beyond facial features, he also paid close attention to a person's build and the waistline. An individual with a straight back and a balanced physique was often seen as possessing a mien of good fortune, whereas a delicate, slender waist suggested a lack of substance. He specifically noted that men should avoid an overly narrow waist, instead favoring an upright posture that wasn't overly thin. Beyond these observations, Zhang Guofan also made sure to consider a person's voice and overall demeanor. This makes a lot of sense, and he actually developed quite specific standards for these, which we'll delve into much more deeply in a later segment. During the Qing dynasty, under the reign of the Xianfeng emperor, anyone with a grasp of history understands that the Xiang army, led by Zhang Guofan, was the principal force battling against the Taiping rebellion. Those years were marked by incredibly brutal and fierce engagements between the Xiang army and the Taiping rebels. In October of the 8th year of Xianfeng's reign, two Taiping generals, Chen Yucheng and Li Xusheng, led their forces to attack Luzhou and Sanhe, clashing with the troops commanded by the Anhui provincial governor Li Shubin. Tragically, it was in this very battle that Zhang Guofan's younger brother, bravely fell. Faced with an urgent situation, Zhang Guofan needed to quickly recruit talented individuals to command his troops, besiege, and attack the Taiping forces. Each time he met with a subordinate, he carefully observed and assessed their talent, ethics, and character, making notes to build a reserve of human resources. He employed the brothers in hunting tigers, fathers and sons in battle method to maintain loyalty within the army, while avoiding those with only petty cleverness or minor stratagems. He summarized his method of evaluating people into a concise maxim. To discern righteousness from treachery, observe the eyes and nose. To distinguish truth from falsehood, look at the lips and mouth. To gauge ambition, examine their demeanor. To know prosperity, look at their spirit. To assess determination, consider their perseverance. To understand adaptability, observe their leg muscles. And to comprehend moderation, listen to their manner of speaking. He emphasized a person's demeanor and essence. Demeanor was seen as an inner essence, unspoiled by external factors. For example, even if a mountain surface soil is eroded by rain and wind, its firm core remains unbroken. Similarly, a person's core spirit is concentrated in their eyes and facial expressions. When evaluating someone, Zhang Guofan not only considered their inner self, but also observed their physical appearance and posture. For scholars, he focused on their demeanor and bearing, as these two elements were like two grand doors concealing a person's destiny and potential. Opening these two doors allowed one to discover the hidden treasures within. Bearing and demeanor were the primary conditions for understanding a person. Ancient masters of medicine, literati, and self-cultivators often categorize spirit into two types, pure and mixed. Distinguishing between these two was not difficult, but differentiating between a genuinely pure and righteous spirit and a seemingly pure but treacherous one was harder to discern. To assess whether a person was righteous or treacherous, one needed to observe them in both static and dynamic states. When still, the eyes of a righteous person often appeared calm, profound, and luminous, like two sparkling, clear gems, cool yet not revealing. When in action, their eyes shone brightly, reflecting confidence and decisiveness, sharp and subtle like a nascent spring bud. When the eyes are in a static state, the gaze is clear and serene, seemingly unconcerned with everything around. When in a dynamic state, the eyes conceal a murderous intent, revealing sharpness, as if precisely targeting an objective to deliver a genital blow. These two states of expression manifest a pure and powerful spirit. When the eyes are in a static state, the gaze is faint, like the weak, flickering light of a firefly, not fixed. When in a dynamic state, the eyes are like clear, flowing water, but hesitant and indecisive. These two types of gazes, one is an expression of someone who often fakes emotions, and the other is an expression of someone under great internal pressure. When the eyes are in a static state, the gaze seems vague, unclear, as if not belonging to reality. When in a dynamic state, the eyes are often restless, like a tree constantly swayed by the wind. These two types of gazes, one belongs to a talented person who does not choose an upright path, and the other belongs to a deeply cunning individual who always fears loss. Those with the first two types of expressions often have flaws in their character. Those with the latter two types of expressions are typically sharp-minded but unable to properly utilize their abilities. They all possess a kind of malevolent spirit, yet their outward appearance is mixed with a pure essence, making differentiation more challenging. When assessing a person's spirit, those who intentionally project a strong outward appearance are often easily identified. However, those who genuinely display decisiveness and possess a truly enthusiastic spirit are harder to recognize. A person lacking spirit, even if they try to appear cheerful, cannot hide their weakness. Conversely, a person with an abundance of spirit expresses themselves naturally and from within. Taoists have a saying, collecting the inner heart, which refers to managing one's spirit. When evaluating someone whose spirit is not yet fully developed, one must pay attention to their overall psychological makeup. Once they have achieved completion, focus should be on the subtlety and meticulousness of their actions. For overly cautious individuals in the undeveloped stage, the more cautious they are, the more easily their lack of thoroughness and care becomes apparent. Conversely, for expansive individuals, when evaluated in their developed stage, the more expansive they are, the more refined and careful their actions become, never superficial. These states of mind truly exist internally, but when expressed externally, they become attitudes, and attitudes are easier to perceive. There are a total of 9 types of classical prosperous demeanors. These are the traditional prosperous bone structures, each with its own distinct characteristic. Now, let's talk about the unique characteristics of our bone structure. a full, rounded forehead, a strong, prominent nape of the neck, a flat yet slightly protruding base of the skull, frontal bones that rise like horns touching the hairline, perfectly straight temples, and cold, subtle brow bones, not faint, but strong and defined. A nose bridge as straight as a bamboo shoot reaching upwards, balanced cheekbones, neither too prominent nor too hidden, and a flat, sturdy chin. When examining the bone structure of the head, we really need to focus on 3 key areas: the forehead, the nape, and the temples. For the face, pay special attention to the brow bones and cheekbones. If all 5 of these areas are perfect, then that person is undeniably a prodigy. If only one area is exceptional, they will never know poverty in their lifetime. With 2 good areas, they'll never be lowly. If they have 3, hard work alone will bring them prosperity. And if they hit all 4, well, they are absolutely destined for greatness. Moving on to complexion, a bluish tone is considered the most noble, much like the saying, youth with a blue hue. A yellow tint with a hint of purple is a step below. The worst, though, is a pale, ashen complexion, almost like dry, bony skin. Bone structure also needs to align with one's demeanor. If the demeanor is consistent and harmonious, that person is truly noble. If it's disjointed and unconnected, they're merely average. Even if a face is beautiful, if the head's bone structure is poor, it can't compare to a good head structure. However, if someone has a large head but an underdeveloped forehead, they'll live a lowly life. If the head is round but the forehead is lopsided, they often become a renunciant. If the nose bridge is overly prominent, their parents may not live long. And if the cheekbones are too close to the outer corners of the eyes, their destiny often lacks descendants. The difference between prosperity and poverty can be as vast as a short inch to 1,000 miles. Next, we delve into the concepts of strength and softness. After assessing one's spirit and bone structure, we need to discern this balance. Strength and softness reflect the principles of the 5 elements and their interactions. Taoists call this the innate seed. What's lacking is supplemented, what's excessive is adjusted to achieve equilibrium. The strength and softness of the 5 elements are manifestations of yin and yang, deeply connected to a person's fate. The 5 elements encompass cycles of creation and destruction, which people refer to as the river. This river flows in 2 directions, favorable and unfavorable. A favorable flow of the 5 elements is wood generating fire, fire generating earth, earth generating metal, metal generating water, and water generating wood, creating a cycle of creation. Those who follow this favorable flow often achieve high status, but rarely reach true wealth. And even if they do, it's often as unstable as ocean waves, constantly rising and falling. An unfavorable flow, however, can hold immense value. For instance, a person of the metal element who carries a fire element is considered truly noble. Conversely, if a fire element person carries a metal element, they won't live past 30. A water element person with an earth element will be very distinguished. But if an earth element person carries a water element, they often live a solitary life. A wood element person with a metal element will be highly esteemed, but a metal element person with a wood element is prone to sword-related misfortunes. Most other explanations of the 5 elements are merely patchwork, not part of the mainstream theory. The 5 elements represent the internal qualities of strength and softness, including emotions like joy, sorrow, anger, or calmness and calculation. To make it easier to visualize, someone who is easily happy will experience excessive joy. Someone prone to anger will have uncontrollable outbursts, but after everything passes, they usually forget it all. This is the wild demeanor, doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want, without regard for circumstances or memories. This is the reserved demeanor, hiding deep thoughts, skillfully observing the words and actions of others. They avoid harm, seek good, and interact with everyone smoothly and cleverly. This is the flexible communicator demeanor, stemming from a genuine inner self without suppressing emotions. Someone who is clever but not deceitful, gentle but not flattering, wild but not loud or destructive, lazy but still sincere, and communicates flexibly yet later becomes strong and confident will often become a useful person. Conversely, if they are clever but treacherous, wild and loud, lazy but dishonest, and communicate flexibly but lack confidence, their future will be one of uselessness. These demeanors change unpredictably, making them difficult to grasp precisely, but even a brief observation can still hint at who will become talented and who will be useless. Earlier, we discussed the common demeanors that appear frequently in life, known as hangtai. In addition, there are some rare demeanors called toitai. For example, if someone suddenly shifts their gaze and thoughts elsewhere during a conversation, it suggests a lack of sincerity. If everyone is laughing happily and someone stands aside with a faint smile, this indicates they are cold, distant, and harbor deep, malicious intentions, making them unsuitable for friendship. If someone constantly agrees with others' opinions, even if those opinions aren't necessarily correct, it shows a lack of conviction. If someone speaks ill of others behind their backs without even knowing them, it simply means they're gossips, untrustworthy, and often petty and despicable individuals. Someone who is unclear about everything, who hesitates and wavers when a decision needs to be made, clearly lacks decisiveness. If someone cries and is deeply distressed over something trivial, it indicates a lack of reason. Their compassion is merely fleeting emotion, and they cannot be fully trusted. However, these three types of behaviors don't necessarily determine a person's entire destiny. If you can learn from such people, you'll be pretty well equipped to handle almost any situation in life. Next, let's talk about eyebrows and beards. People often say, you need eyebrows and a beard to be a man. This is true, as it's rare to see someone without a beard or eyebrows considered a real man. The ancients also said, youth looks at the eyebrows, old age looks at the beard. This means a person's fate in youth depends on their eyebrow characteristics, while their fortune in old age relies heavily on their beard. But there are exceptions. If a face has a rare, noble purple hue, a shade between blue and red, even without a beard, their status is still high. People with smooth cheeks, even with sparse beards, can become famous like General Guo Ziyi. A sparse beard doesn't preclude power and immense wealth. Wise, thoughtful, engaging, had no beard, a stern face, but achieved great accomplishments and was renowned throughout the land. Nevertheless, these cases are just exceptions. The majority of people, up to 90%, with full eyebrows and beards, possess a luxurious and distinguished aura. The glistening shine of the eyebrows signifies a person of wealth and status. Eyebrows can display 3 layers of shine: at the root, in the middle, and at the tip. If all 3 are present, it's a sign of great wealth and nobility. 2 layers are less auspicious, and 1 layer can still be good, but to a moderate extent. People with well-proportioned eyebrows with balanced thickness and color are seen as embodying a civilized and amiable character. Graceful, bright eyebrows should not be too thick, heavy, or stiff. If eyebrows are extremely dense and bushy, looking like phoenix wings gliding through the wind or like 2 dragons soaring from a distance, that's a sign of noble eyebrows. Conversely, if eyebrows are messy like smeared ink, they are considered ordinary. Slightly curved eyebrows forming a figure 8 shape are a good sign. However, if eyebrows droop and also form a figure 8, that's a less favorable trait. Long eyebrows should have a graceful curve, while short ones need to be sharp and spirited. Thick eyebrows should not have a false or illusory shine. Sparse eyebrows should not resemble dry, withered threads. If eyebrows look like 2 sharp swords, this person will surely become a military general. Conversely, if eyebrows are like 2 worn-out brooms, they may face life-threatening misfortune. There are many other signs and characteristics that require careful observation. However, if eyebrows are too long, obscuring the eyes and making the gaze seem weak, or if eyebrows are messy, making the eyes look tired and lacking spirits, or if eyebrows are too thin, giving a flirtatious appearance, or if eyebrows are too coarse and lack refinement, these are all considered unfavorable eyebrow traits. Some people have abundant beards, others less so, but whether plentiful or sparse, they need to harmonize with the eyebrows. If the beard is full, it should be clear, soft, bright, not messy, and have a reasonable distribution of length. If the beard is sparse, it needs to be smooth, lustrous, straight, and sharp, full of spirit, and harmonious with other facial features. If a beard curls like a spring, this person is definitely intelligent, far-sighted, open-minded, and magnanimous. A thin, long beard that resembles a worn-out string with many slight curves suggests a person who is often a wanderer but not licentious, and may overcome dangers later in life. A beard that is firm and strong like a taut bow indicates that this person will later become a loyal and respected high-ranking official. If the beard is bright and lustrous, resembling shimmering silver, this person will become a court official in their youth. All these characteristics suggest they are talented individuals with a great demeanor in official circles. If the beard is purple, eyebrows are like sharp swords, the voice is resonant, and the beard grows long past the ears, combined with a bright face and refined bone structure, even if they don't become a king, they could serve as prime minister for 10 years. However, a beard that is too short or grows unevenly, with the tips covering the mouth or no beard at all, often signals poverty and a bleak destiny. These characteristics are usually easy to spot and don't require overly detailed analysis. Regarding the voice, a person's voice, like the yin and yang and 5 elements of heaven and earth, has distinctions between clear and turbid. A clear voice is light and high-pitched. A turbid voice is heavy and low-pitched. The voice, originating from the core, produces sound through the throat, transformed by the tongue, and distinguished into clear or deep tones by the teeth, finally exiting through the lips. All these elements work in harmony with the fundamental sounds of the 5 tones. When observing others, we should listen to their voices to recognize their uniqueness. Even if a voice doesn't perfectly adhere to the 5 tones, just hearing it can help you picture the person. So you don't need to see their face, simply hearing their voice can tell you whether they're a talent or a mediocrity. Sound and voice seem inseparable, but in reality, they are different. Voice appears when the vocal organs begin to act, while sound emerges when the vocal organs close. There are many ways to tell a good voice from a bad one, but we must pay close attention to human emotions: joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness. The sound of joy is like snapping green bamboo, clear and pleasant to the ear. The sound of anger is like resounding thunder, powerful and magnificent. The sound of sorrow is like breaking thin ice, sharp and mournful. The sound of happiness is like gentle snow falling in the wind, quiet and serene. All these share a common characteristic. A clear, resonant sound is often considered noble. If the sound is rich and robust, it's like a resounding bell, indicating high status. But if it's like a thin, frivolous gong, it belongs to the lower class. If the sound is gentle and soft, like a rooster's crow, clear and lingering, that is noble. But if it's like the loud, empty croaking of frogs, that's common. Heard from a distance, the sound is strong, full of masculine vigor. But up close, it's gentle and melodious, showing mildness and grace. The sound begins like wind chiming a bell, pleasant and soothing. When it ends, it's like a soft pluck on a stringed instrument, elegant and natural. This is truly the best kind of sound. The ancients said, "A voice carries far, but doesn't need to shout," or "speak loudly or softly, but never betray weakness." This is the voice of polite and refined individuals. If the sound produced is disjointed, lacks rhythm, and leaves no echo, it's like the isolated moo of a cow in a desolate field. Or if the sound is hurried, gruff, and fumbling, like a mouse scurrying to eat in the dead of night. Speech that is interrupted, incoherent, messy, sometimes slurred or unclear, all belong to the voices of common people, those of no particular merit. Poor and humble people often have sound but no echo, with crude and unstable voices. Wise and cunning individuals, however, often have echo but lack sound, indicating deceit and artificiality. The saying, "Birds cry without sound, people teach without echo," refers to this type of voice. When ordinary people speak, their words are just sounds spreading through the air, without any particular finesse. But if words come from sincere emotions and the voice is full of meaning, with an echo that lingers in the mind after they've spoken, then that person is not only polite, but can also be considered a prominent figure in society. If a speaker, despite a wide mouth shape, delivers words that are concise and authentic, or if they are fluent but not boastful or careless, this not only demonstrates deep inner substance, but also helps them achieve fame and respect. Regarding facial aura, if the face symbolizes a person's major destiny, then their aura is an expression of their minor destiny. Major destiny is predetermined at birth, but it must be balanced with what one encounters later in life. Minor destiny, however, requires maintaining continuous good fortune. If the light on a face cannot shine forth, then even precious jade or jewels are no different from mere pebbles. If the hue is not clearly expressed, then even silk brocade is no better than coarse cloth. Major destiny determines a person's lifelong blessings and misfortunes, while minor destiny dictates luck over a few months. Aura is the guiding spirit of human life and development. Internally, it manifests as divine essence. Externally, it appears as facial aura. Facial aura comes in many forms, some lasting a lifetime. Youth often has a faint aura, meaning a thin temperament and delicate hue. By young adulthood, the aura becomes bright with richer colors. In maturity, the aura is radiant, showing strength and dynamism. In old age, the aura becomes simple and rustic. Additionally, facial aura changes with the seasons. In spring, the aura is fresh green like the breath of plants. In summer, it's vibrant red, full of life. In autumn, it's warm yellow, carrying the breath of ripeness. In winter, it's bright white, reflecting tranquility. Within a month, the facial aura changes from the beginning, like budding shoots, to fading in the middle, then transforming cyclically. Within a day, the morning aura is fresh, daytime is full, evening gradually softens, and night is peaceful. For those who seek success, the facial aura should primarily be yellow, as yellow symbolizes neutrality and stability. If a golden glow, like bright clouds, appears around the face, it's a sign of good fortune and prosperity. If this golden light covers the crown of the head, this person will surely succeed in their exams, perhaps even achieving top honors. Should two golden streaks appear on either side of the forehead, extending like wings towards the ears, it's a clear indication that this person is about to be promoted or receive a noble title. If the indentation hall area between the eyebrows glows with a lustrous golden hue, this individual will undoubtedly soon have the opportunity to both earn money and hold an official position. If the bright hall area and the bridge of the nose are clean and brightly white, this person will achieve high marks in their examinations. If areas like the corners and ends of the eyes are a vibrant, cloud-like red, this young person will certainly pass their exams with ease. If a purple streak extends upwards from the indentation hall to the mountain root area, it's a sign that this person consistently attracts wealth. If the two areas under the eyes are crescent moon red, separated by the bridge of the nose and not connected, this person will surely soon have their first son. If both cheeks are rosy and radiant, it means their relatives, such as father, son, or siblings, will achieve great accomplishments, bringing fame and prosperity to the family. From these expressions, it's clear that the facial complexion strongly reflects a person's destiny. The complexion can also show blue or white, each with its own meaning. Blue typically appears under the eyes. If it's due to worry or sorrow, the blue will be dense, almost thick in color. If it signifies an unexpected calamity, the blue will be uneven, light like thin smoke. White often appears at the ends of the eyebrows. If it's due to physical weakness from excessive drinking, the white will be pale, fading after a short while. If caused by a major disaster, the white will be as pale as dry bones, carrying a sense of death. There are also special nuances. If a person of the metal element exhibits this color, they might achieve extraordinary advancement. If the white is bright and radiant, individuals of the earth or metal elements with such a complexion will become wealthy. However, certain inauspicious complexions include 4 types. 1. White surrounding the eyes signals family discord. 2. Black gathering on the forehead indicates entanglement in disputes. 3. Blotchy red on both cheeks suggests a risk of accidents. 4. Dull gray at the indentation hole is a sign of great misfortune. If any of these 4 inauspicious complexions appear, that person may continuously encounter misfortunes or bad luck. What we've discussed is a summary of reading people through complexion. I truly hope you found something useful here, learned how to steer clear of negative influences, and recognized opportunities for growth. Wishing you all the best and abundant good fortune. If you found this insightful and helpful, please don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to Evolve Every Day for more inspiring content, and share it with anyone who might benefit. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What resonated with you the most today?